believe in your story. Don't doubt yourself. Don't just think that you're this label, you're a mom, or you are entrepreneur, or you are something, some kind of a label. You're so much more than that. You have a story, you have a lived experience to share, and your past does not have to define your future.
Some experts chase attention, but the smart ones build authority. You're listening to the Authority on Demand podcast, where credibility becomes your competitive advantage. Every week, we're pulling back the curtain on how founders and leaders turn expertise into inbound demand through books that position, media that converse, and strategies that actually move the needle. I'm Danielle Hutchinson, your host and Chief Creative Officer at Authority on Demand. Now, let's turn your authority into leverage. Okay, everybody, there comes a moment in every person's life when they stand at a crossroads, continue suffering, or choose something radically different. For today's guest, that moment came in 2015 with the simple but profound, "I didn't come here to suffer." What followed was a complete life transformation that she's now sharing with the world. In today's podcast, we're going to be diving deep into the minds and methods of a writer who's turned the greatest challenge into the greatest contribution. We're exploring how one woman's journey from despair to joy became a 12-step roadmap for anyone ready to reclaim their happiness. Without further ado, please welcome Irina Shehovsov. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danielle, so much. It's great to be here.
Hey, real quick before we jump back in, if you're loving what we're doing here, hit that subscribe button and drop us a like. We're bringing you the best authors, the most real conversations, and all the writing wisdom that you didn't know you needed. So stick around because it only gets better from here. All right, now let's get back to the conversation.
Of course, I'm really looking forward to it also. You have so many beautiful things to offer to everybody. I was looking through all of your books, but of course, we're going to be focusing on your one book in particular, The Gift Inside, the 12 Steps to Heal Unworthiness, Brokenness, and Victim Mentality. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to talk a little bit about yourself first, though. You did mention, just like in my introduction, you felt like your internal compass was broken. You were trying to, figure out one path or another. Can you walk us through that and tell us a little bit about what that was like and how it led you to this framework?
Totally. So, we all live with the expectations that we have about life, how life is supposed to be. You grow up, you go to school, get good grades, you go to a job, a career, and then you start a family. And if everything kind of mapped out as you expected, you would never actually sit down and question yourself, where is my life going? What am I doing? Because everything is as expected. But what happens when we have this internal plan or internal expectation and reality does not match to what we have expected? We might find ourselves at a crossroads. We might find ourselves like not knowing where I found myself because the expectation that I had internally didn't match externally. And I'm a single parent of two kids, and I'm becoming a single parent out of the blue and finding out what is normal look like, looking outside. How is everybody doing life? Everybody around me was married and together and happy on the outside. And that's what normal's supposed to be. But what I've discovered through my journey that we get to define what normal is for ourselves. We don't need to copy anybody else. We get to see what works for us. So it's been an interesting journey from not knowing, not having clarity to speaking with you today. I'm actually an introvert, a recovering introvert, and now I have written 7 books. I am a host of 2 podcasts, and I also run a YouTube channel called Happiness Academy. So it's been an interesting journey, a journey of rediscovering who I am. Outside of being labels of a mom and a spouse, who am I? I no longer knew I had that loss of identity because I guess when we live with another person, you start finishing off each other's sentences. And little by little, you stop being like yourself. You stop losing yourself in the process. If you don't have that core identity, if you don't pursue your own things, you kind of do things together, but then that other person is not in your life anymore. How are you keep on going? How are you moving forward? What are you doing for yourself? And that's how the 12 steps kind of got born. I looked back at my own journey and I took care first of my physical health and then emotional and mental and spiritual. And little by little, I was able to rediscover little pieces of myself, and that there is so much more to life than what I originally thought. That I thought the best years of life was over once the marriage broke apart, and I thought, that's it. What am I going to do now? I failed as a human. Downhill from here. But I've discovered that that's nothing further from the truth.
Understood. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So really amazing that you went from being what you call a covering introvert to, having all these different platforms for sharing your story and what you've learned. And I think that's beautiful because so many people do need to hear these things. A lot of people go through the same thing that you did. So it's just so beneficial for them to hear your story and learn from you too. So thank you for doing that. I'm sure there's so many people just transforming their lives every day. So yeah, to transition into the gift inside itself, do you happen to have a copy with you today by any chance?
I do.
Oh, nice. Perfect. I love the cover. It's super cool how all the different words shape into a heart. Did you have any say in the cover design by any chance?
I designed it myself. That's how I wanted it. I actually was scrolling through Amazon and looking for different ideas and things, and I saw uh, there was like a picture of a head filled with words, and it was about like overcoming self-doubt and like something like that. But I had that image in my head. I want to create a heart because the purpose of the book is the gift inside. So have a heart and then fill the heart with words, and different variations pop out. So I did the gift inside everywhere. Then I also did another version, let me do all the components, all the steps, and fill it like that. But the color scheme, I wanted to be red and golden. And yeah, so this is my design. Kind of, that's how I saw it, and that's how it came to be.
I love it. Okay, really creative and it's really metaphorical too, because if it's representing like the gift, I mean, that's really the, main thing we're thinking about here. The title suggests it, by the way.
Yeah.
So somebody who is in the depths of their darkness, not sure where to go, they have to look for that gift, but they might not, see the gift themselves. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that. Like, how can somebody see that gift if they don't think they have it?
Yeah, I think we all have a gift. That's why we are here. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have that gift. And it's all unique to each one of us. We all have our own power, our own thing that make us who we are. And this whole book is for person to rediscover what that gift is. I'm not saying it's one cut for all. You get to rediscover what it is on the inside. The whole idea is that you don't seek happiness on the outside. You can find it within by following the framework that I'm sharing: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, practicing habits that you can discover. If we look at pyramid of needs by Maslow, we got to satisfy our initial needs first, like shelter, food, and all those things before we can aspire to do something else with a life. So you got to first have a solid foundation of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health. Once that is fulfilled, then you can open up and kind of dream again, find out what your gift is, what it is that you came here to do. So in the book, I'm sharing how to get there. One of the core pieces, like if you want me to go into detail, or I don't know, for physical health, let's say 3 habits: how you start your morning routine, what do you eat, how do you move. Simple, trivial things that sometimes we take for granted, but they have such foundation. You're building a house and you lay it brick by brick, little by little, and then you can see progress. You're not going to see progress overnight, but if you're consistent, if you do those things, you would discover that you feel happy, you feel better, and you will uncover whatever that gift is that you came here to create. Because oftentimes, because we are with ourselves so often, we're not even going to notice that we do something so amazing, but for somebody else it could be such a big deal. Like for you, you do the podcast, you write, you're a publishing company as well, right? And you help authors, right, to realize this is your gift. And for somebody else, it's like, wow, Danielle is doing so much. How is she capable of that? But for you, it's like no big deal. This is what you do. This is the air you breathe, the water you drink. But for somebody else, it could be such a great, amazing thing. And sometimes we don't realize that power that we have, the gift that we have, that we can share with others. So my hope for this book is for people to rediscover what that gift is on the inside, not somewhere externally, not in the next career, in the next partnership, in the next relationship, but we are able to generate happiness from within.
I love that. And thank you so much also for kind of giving some great examples or like relating it back to us here at Authors on Mission. It's great to think about it in many different contexts too. And you did touch upon a little bit about those four domains, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. I think it's great that you categorize it. Can you tell us a little bit about why you address all four areas? Why not just focus on one? What do you think?
Yes, because we operate in all four states of being simultaneously. Right now, I'm talking with you, but meanwhile, there are so many processes happening internally. Maybe
Right.
there is like the food you ate, and there is the process of digestion that's going on, but it's not visible. There are thoughts and ideas that we have, and we always operate in four states of being simultaneously. We're not just this physical being. We all have all those things happening at the same time. And I believe we gotta address all four because we operate in four states of being simultaneously. So that's how that idea came to be. And when you fix one, just one, you kind of putting on a band-aid. You're not getting down to the root cause of what is causing the issue. So looking at holistically at everything, it helps for you to feel better. It helps for you to see how you're operating in your physical space. Are you eating right? Are you exercising? Are you filling your mind with great ideas? Are you practicing different things for your mind? So not just physical, what you put on your mouth or how many hours did you sleep, but what are you doing for your mental health, for your emotional health? Are you, and in the book, I'm sharing other tools for that. So meditation, forgiveness is a great practice. Forgiveness is not something we do for others. It's something we do for ourselves. In fact, one little recommendation, don't bring troubles of yesterday into today. Leave everything yesterday and start each day as new, fresh. Gratitude is another amazing thing for somebody who is struggling or somebody who is in the depths of everything and all they see is darkness. If they start noticing what's working in their life, suddenly a mind, a greatest servant wants to please us all the time. It will suggest you ideas where else is working, what else is working in other areas of your life. And
Right.
then being present. Our life is so fast paced. We're always checking off boxes and I called on the phone, a 3-second TikTok video. You gotta capture somebody's attention. So we gotta intentionally slow down and notice what is alive, where are we going? And noticing beautiful things in our life, flood our senses, discovering our hobbies. I believe I'm a great believer of hobbies. I believe in those things we discover a little bit of who we are little by little, things like that. And another chapter that's important, I call it, to mention is breaking free from victimhood. A lot of times we spend a lot of time being a victim, blaming others for our life circumstances. How do we break free from that? How do we uncover like what's working? I think first it's to accept where we are and what happened and not to blame ourselves, but to just state it as a fact. And then the ability that we can rewrite our own story. We don't have to, our past does not define our future. We can recreate, we have the power to write a new story.
Absolutely. I love that. And thank you so much for, going through all of that. I absolutely agree. Your past isn't defined by your future, doesn't define your future. And I think a lot of people, it's hard for them to wrap their minds around that because we're stuck in our ways and we only see what's right in front of us. So you need to open your mind and see everything around. So it's perfect. So, even more so than this, though, you have the gift inside, but you also have a ton of other books, also, which I think it's important for us to shine a little bit of light on, too. We have the Soul Parent series, Contributions to Revolutionary Leaders, Sacred Surrender. But I think they all kind of have an overlying theme. So, I'm wondering if you can talk those about those because it all contributes to your overall mission. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, the whole theme is reclaiming your life, believing in yourself no matter what. And in all the different books that I'm sharing, different principles of how you can reclaim your life, no matter where you are, no matter how difficult life is, we can write a new story. And so the overarching theme of everything is reclaiming one's life through different habits, through different ways of living and being. So that's how everything came about. Another chapter I shared in one of the books, Total Health for Extraordinary Living, I'm talking about, and it was all about sharing different habits for health. And I said, I don't think we have health if we don't have happiness. So we gotta practice our happiness muscle. So in that book, I'm sharing 10 minutes of joy. Do something that sets your soul on fire every day, 10 minutes or more. So, but everything kind of culminated where I'm sharing in different books in the Gift and Sight. Gift and Sight is an overarching methodology of all of the different tools, and the other books are little slivers of that.
Understood. Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for that. And I like that they all kind of contribute to each other. It's like different pillars to a foundation of something that everybody needs to learn. And you're addressing all the different areas that somebody might needs to be working on there. So I think that's just beautiful. So all this being said, I would like to transition a little bit into the writing process itself because we are an author's podcast, and as much as we can learn to reclaim ourselves and all this positivity, writers have a unique talent for sharing that too, and people go through that also. So I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about your writing process. You mentioned dealing with imposter syndrome, for example. How did you get past that, and what tips and tricks worked for you?
Sure. I think we all go through that unless you are like an English major and you have a degree in that. And my idea was that's how I used to think before. You go to school and you have a degree in something, and that kind of gives you permission to open your mouth and talk about it, like as if you're an expert, or at least you have some knowledge in the area. And for myself, English is not my first language. I am an introvert, used to be. And so the imposter syndrome came like, who is going to listen to me? What have I got to say? What am I going to share? Like, who cares? Everybody lives. But I think what happens a lot of times, we all have our stories, and we, with a false belief that uh, the fact that we went to school and we have a degree in something gives us an ability, but we are so much more than our job, than a title, than a college degree. What about our lived experiences? We grew up, we raised a family, we had relationships, we did so much different things, but those things are not documented. This is just our experience of life. But that experience worth something as well. And that's how kind of I shifted the mindset little by little. And I guess NLP helped as well. I've trained in neuro-linguistic programming, and that helped open up my mind to this idea that anything is possible, and we get to rewrite our own story. So of course I did struggle with imposter syndrome first when I was doing Sacred Surrender, my first ever contribution. It's like writing and thinking, how vulnerable should I be? Because my friends and my family is going to read what I've written, and it's like you're opening your mind to all these people, and they're going to judge you.
Right.
But I think the most important thing is no matter what you do, people are going to judge you. So why not do what you want to do? And becoming an author was actually a dream of mine. I used to, one of my, on my reclaim back to myself journey, what I was used to doing, I used to practice the power hour, like Tony Robbins calls it. And I used to walk around and imagine what my life would be. So first I wrote it on a piece of paper, and then I memorized it, and I envisioned what I wanted to do. And one of them was becoming an author. And I forgot about that dream. And then through my podcast, that dream got to be realized as one of the publishers came on my podcast, and she was a former single mom. And she invited me to be a part of the book. But any
Okay.
tips and tricks that I can share, I think we all have a story to share, and you gotta believe that your story could help somebody. It could be a page in someone else's survival guide if you overcome any obstacle, any trouble, and you have your own perspective. And looking back at a life before the written word, people used to connect to each other through communication, through stories, story sharing. It's so powerful, and it's such a healing journey that you go on. You not only help share with others, you not only can help them, but you also help yourself through your own writing. It changes you, it influences you to see your own ideas. Even when you read a book, if you're a reader, if you read a book more than one time, you might glean different golden nuggets every time you read it, because your mind is on a different level and is ready, like a fertile ground, to accept new ideas that are flourishing. Before you skimmed over them, but now you're getting more and more. And the more you read it, the better it becomes. Same with writing. You write it and then you read it to yourself. I wrote this. Where did this come from? All this stuff. So that's how a writing journey was for me. I started writing on the beach, and the Gift Inside book actually was 10 years in the making. First implementation and actually physically living through it. And then when I started writing, I started in 2020. I used to go on the beach, and I had a journal, and I wrote it pen to paper. That's how first chapters kind of rolled out, and then I transferred to computer. And I actually got stuck around chapter 7 of The Gift Inside, which was about becoming free from victimhood. Guess it was a difficult one. And
Right. Well,
yeah, go ahead.
little by little, that's what I was going to say too. It sounds like it was a slow process, but little by little you got there, and I think it's really inspiring that you gained that inspiration from your podcast too. I think that's really cool.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much for walking us through all of that. It's something that we all, need to know and learn from these days. Because in a world where everyone's on their phones and everyone is writing, it's intimidating to join in, and kind of break out of the norm. So it's great that you offer that to others. So if people want to get in touch and learn a little bit more about you and your systems, where is the best place for them to head to?
Yes, so I'm very active on Instagram, LinkedIn. So Instagram is re.claimyourlife handle. Then YouTube channel has a lot of free resources on reclaiming life. It's Happiness Academy _. My website is Irina Shehovsov, just like my name, .com. IRINASHEHOVSOV.com. The podcasts that I host, I have two. One is called Single Parent Success Stories. This one is 5 years old, available on all the podcasting platforms. And the second one is called Reclaim Your Life with Irina, also available on all the podcasting platforms. And videos for both podcasts are on YouTube. And all of my books are available on Amazon if you search by my name. Or on my website, there is a direct link there as well.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we'll put the links in the description box of this podcast today so everybody can go ahead and click on over and get in the know. Perfect stuff. So as you begin to wrap up today, then I have to know what other pieces of advice, Mike, you want to offer the audience today? What can we leave them with to keep them inspired and working on their own journeys as they continue on with their day today?
Sure. Believe in your story. You have something worth sharing, and don't doubt yourself. Don't just think that you're this label, you're a mom, or you are entrepreneur, or you are something, some kind of a label. You're so much more than that. You have a story, you have a lived experience to share. And if you have overcome any kind of struggle, any difficulty, this could be your way of paying it forward. So other people don't have to go through that struggle if they can have a shortcut to get there, to get on the other side, because life is so short to be living unhappy. We can design our own way of living and being. We have the power. You hold the pen to write your next story, and your past does not have to define your future.
Understood. No, thank you so much for walking us through all of that. Your past does not have to define your future. I think that's kind of your overarching slogan there. It's something we should all be learning from. It's really beautiful. So yeah, everybody, this has been Irina. Irina, thank you so much for coming on our show today. It's really been a joy to get to know you and learn a little bit more about your books. So guys, again, go ahead and click on her links, check out her books. She's a best-selling author and a transformational coach and is truly inspiring in all aspects. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course. And if you're listening today, just remember, click on the links, learn a little bit more, and also remember that your story matters, your voice is needed, and your gift is waiting to be shared with the world. So until next time, just keep writing, keep growing, and keep believing in the power of your mission. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on another episode of the Authority on Demand podcast. If today's conversation sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with a founder or leader who's ready to stop being the best kept secret in their industry. Want to turn your expertise into inbound demand? Head to authorityondemand.com to see how we help clients go from unknown to in demand. I'm Danielle Hutchinson, and I'll catch you on the next one. Now, go build some authority.